Hello, this is Compound Interest Stock Guy. Today in this video, we're just going to be going through some companies in the space. I'm going to get a little more zoomed in so you guys can see it a little better. We're going to talk about some cannabis stocks and, a little bit about commodities, just to backtrack and just to get a full kind of picture on the market. So stay tuned. If you're new to the channel, don't be shy. Subscribe, hit the bell down below so you're notified when I upload a video. I also want to disclose I'm not a financial advisor. This is just for entertainment information purposes. Do not buy or sell based on anything I talk about. Buy or sell after you did your own research, due diligence, and you like the investment you're pursuing. So can you please give me a thumbs up? I do appreciate that. So let's get into this. Okay, so safe 360 risk. I have a position in this, and I never really looked at it until I saw it at the bottom when it was out at this price, 0.5 or 0.55. I bought just under 13k. Just a small position, but I think there's some incredible upside on 360 risk. I know they're in a fairly low cash position, but they're not burning too much cash, and they were talking about being profitable or just lowering expenses in the upcoming quarter. So September 30th was their last ending quarter, so it would be from October 1st to January 1st. So I'm thinking they're probably going to report maybe mid-February or early March, I'm thinking, but I don't know everything, so that's as good as guess as anybody else's, but I think it could be somewhere around there. But anyways, I think that they could have a very decent quarter. I know they were minus 9,000 EBITDA and about minus 2.5 million net loss, and they're guiding for 60 to 80 million in 2020. So I think that's huge based on having a market cap somewhere around, fully diluted, somewhere really around like $8 to $9 million, and they're able to do 60 to 80 million. I think the stock's going to go up, as long as there's no like Hail Mary and the company don't go bankrupt or anything. But I looked on the chart on the daily and it looks very bullish, just a change of direction. So I'd recommend looking into them. I think they're the only company I can really recommend under 10 cents on the cannabis industry, because, they're going to do over 10 million potentially next quarter. They're working with TGIF. I think, who knows, like next quarter, maybe 10, 12, then, maybe a few quarters over 15 to like 18 million. So I think it should be somewhere around, you really at the end of the year, they'll have double revenues. Their last quarter was like 8.6 million. So I think, that's the thing, is when the companies start making a little more revenues, in certain companies, they can break even. I've done the math on things, if you watch the Aurora revenue, I did a thing where it says what it would take to break even on Aurora, and I break it down. I'm on a ski hill, and, it's the same kind of a focus on these other plays. Are they very risky? Yes. But if I'm already in the position, I can't really do anything except lower my average or, sell out at a loss. If most likely your positions are at a loss in your portfolio, if you've, held on for the last like 5 to 6 months. Unless you bought in the last week or so, then you're up a penny or something. But other than that, so who knows? Enough about 360 risks. But I'm thinking about probably selling about 70 to 80% of my position if it goes up to like 3 to 5 times, and then rolling with about a 15 to 25% of my position still. That's what I'm thinking. The Namaste was up today. Namaste is really, but I'm not sure how high it's going to go. I got some warrants that are going to expire, so I'm kind of, I kind of choked about that. Back in the day, I could have sold them for, straight up, I got greedy. And the reality of things back in the day when things were really hyped up, it wouldn't be unimaginable to see Namaste go to like $3 to $4 back when it was trading around like 150 or so, or like 275 when it started coming up. So it couldn't go up to 5 or 6. But what I've noticed is the market makers don't want to push those warrants through on a lot of the companies. There's some type of force behind it. A lot of these aren't being exercised. Basically, really good. I'm not very bullish on the warrants. A True Leaf warrant might be do very good. It's about 1750 strike. What else? Like Abacus. So that's like ABCS dot warrant. The Valens, I think if they're still available, I think might be one at 3-4. I think that it's good for like a year or so. That may be good. There's some ones that maybe with hype, if they're long enough and the market starts getting bullish again, then they'll absolutely hit and they'll be called on. But a lot of these warrants are gonna exercise worthless. So, and there's also theta decay, right? So if the stock don't go up in time, like month after month, if it goes down, you're not just fighting the fact that the price is going down. You're fighting the fact that your time's running out on your warrants. So I don't know. I like warrants, but I don't. I think that I'm not really the whole cannabis space as far as warrants. I'm not very that stoked on. Now, to get a call option at a certain time, if you are have a margin account, there's money to be made. Jason Spatafora will put options is he'll play with Cron, or he'll play with CGC, and he'll have like a week or 2 week out. So say like Cron's at about 10.50, he'll buy like $11 strikes for maybe like 30 cents, and he'll buy like 100 or 200 of these, and he'll just go super bullish on these calls. But as soon as they're up, say like 50 to like 75%, he's selling out of like 50 to 70% of his, and he's like just taking all that money, and then he's rolling with the house's money. So he's safe that he's not gonna lose on them. And then once he's got that money, then if he sees that Cron's going down, he'll buy a put option for say Cron's at like $11 and it's like trending downwards. He'll buy a put option down till like 10.50, and then so it starts going in that direction, and he'll have like a week or 2 or 3 week. I'm sure he gets them all over the place, but I listen to his streams, and that's what he says. And I've watched the trading fraternity. It all makes sense to me as far as call options, put options, and all that crap. But that's what he's doing. So as far as it goes, I like the call options optionality versus the warrants, because on a Cron or a weed, they can get some big movements. So anyways, enough about that. But Valens was above MetaPharm Labs today, so that was very nice to see. It's just has better profit margins, no ifs, ands, or buts. But I think there was some selling a few days ago from the insider, so it's hard to say. I don't know I don't think that really affects anything. I don't know why she would sell. I think they did a 27 million to 30 million quarter. That's what they said. And, in my head, it makes a lot of sense for them to do at least I mean, minimum 9 million in net income, and that would be kind of below what I'm thinking. I'm more thinking about 10 to like 14 million in net income. So I mean, but they could do lower. I don't know everything, and they could have lower margins on things, but I think they really did do about 10 to 14. So what insider really, but there's, if she had a lot of shares, I think it's a she, so you have to sell at certain times. So I mean, I don't know, I'm not looking too much into it. That doesn't really make me feel bearish on the stock, really. Is it kind of a kick in the nuts? Maybe, but I don't know. I'm not really too I just think Valens has a lot of room to go up at these levels, because just thinking about their PE ratio, if they do 10 million in net income every quarter for the whole year, and they do that's like 40 million, right? And their market cap's around like 440. That's like a forward PE ratio of 11. So that's like fucking ridiculously low. And on top of that, they have 67 million in cash last, I believe. So they're fucking set. So I think it's actually funny. I'm gonna like say something about Jason Spatafora. He doesn't even fucking understand Valens. He's like, nah, I'm not interested. And it's like, dude, you don't do any. A lot of these guys that are like supposedly the fucking know-it-alls of like the cannabis industry don't fucking understand like every fucking company, right? Like when I talk about companies, I fucking know it, right? Like I fucking talk about it. I know what's up. I dig through their financials. If I own that company, I'm fucking digging through their financials. A lot of these guys are like supposedly like the fucking gurus and all that shit. They don't even fucking read like these financials of the best companies in Canada, and they're so like, oh well, Cron, weed, and all that stuff. But those are the guys that everybody fucking looks up to, and nobody fucking like realizes that there's. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'll get my word around and shit, and I'm gonna go back to work soon. So I mean, this isn't my whole fucking like agenda, but I wouldn't mind like growing the channel a bit. But I like organic growth. I really like the kind of community, like the people. Like I'm having some very smart intellectual conversations with like when I did some live streams with the guys that were in there, and just like the regular guys that are just following around and commenting. I appreciate all you guys' support. So I just want to say that Valens, says it's strong buy still. So I just think that it can go to $6 to $7 to $8 because Warren Buffett says 20 PE ratio, right? So forward PE, forward PE is not the same as a PE, right? But looking into 2021, if they're continually on this path of super success and great net incomes and profit margins, they just, I don't think that they have the NCIB to buy back 6 million shares. I don't really think they have much holding them back for that company to go to $7 to $10 in even a couple next months. I mean, I'm not saying for sure that's going to happen. Maybe it only hits 556. Maybe these companies don't go up that much until a while. Like some will go up, but who knows, right? They may just like hold it back till the summer, when it gets close to election, then they'll pump the shit out of the markets, like these companies, and then they'll dump the shit out of them. So I think that'll happen, but I don't know how high these companies are going to go, because it's really based on what the market makers and all the institutions, how much money they pile in. So I'd have a cautious approach as far as how high some of your companies are going to go before they fall down. That's just the words of wisdom. Even if you took off like 25%, if your stock's up 100%, 200%, take off profits 25, 50%, then just like roll with your extra shares. So Abacus, yeah, they have such a low float, but I think it need to have a good financials. They're not really known. They're not known. They don't have enough radar on them. But even though they have Gronkowski, so It's hard to say, but there's such a low float. I think the company, when their revenues start going up to like 10, 15, 20, and they're doing some nice net income, say like 1 to 5 million, which I think that they'll do, because even on like 3 million or something, they break even pretty much. They get some money from taxes that are helping out their net income. But I think at 7 to 10 million, I think they can break even potentially. I'd have to look at that again, but I think their margins are so great. They're like 77% or something. And, I don't think they're spending that much money in their SG&A. So I don't think it would go up that much if they do if they do 2 to 3 times. So I would look into Abacus, ABCS. I have done a video on them. I did a video when they were a lot higher. But, a lot of these stocks, they've gone cratered to the bottoms. And, if they have a good opportunity and the future looks bright for them, I do think that they have great potential to move up in the next couple months, and then things will fall down. That's what I'm kind of predicting, based on talking and hearing from other people. That's just the kind of consensus. MJRD is kind of a piece of shit. GW Pharma, the big pharma player. Yes, I think they were like $105 or something before their financials, somewhere around 100. So they've gone up 20%, even $100 stock rate. That's the thing. People, I don't know. Some people, they'd be saying, well, don't buy stock above $20 or crap like that. But hell, if you had, say, even 5 shares, if you had 5 shares of this stock, and you get $20 profit on it, you sell it out, and you still get after commissions. I need a better system. My commissions are killing me. But regardless, if you had 10 shares, you'd have $200 before commissions, like $180. If you had 5 shares, you would get $80 in profit. So $80, and I don't know. I'm not so convinced on GW Pharma's share structure. I just too confused on it. I looked into it, and I've argued with some people on different Facebook pages about it, and I'm just kind of over trying to understand GW Pharma. But I think on a call option I would that at a certain price if it really looked good for me. Tilray's just chilling around 21, getting some basement. Bottom. It's just bottoming out around the 20 range. So that gives them range to move up. I haven't looked deep into their chart, but it's kind of going to be news based. I know there was a lot of hype when he went on to CNBC about a week or so ago, and the stock was in the teens, and then it went up to the 20s. So I don't know. Tilray, I really do think is a great company. Basically all the big companies, Tilray, ACB, Aphria, CGC, they run their company as if they are making about $1.5 billion in revenue. Because maybe lower than that, but it's not a sustainable business based on their current revenues. Based on last quarter with CGC and ACB, that's a 300 million run rate, and they're blowing over that much money in SG&A. So realistically, they really need about $1 billion to, I did the, 800 million, I think ACB, but for Canopy, I think they absolutely need to do 1.5 billion or more to even get close, and that's based on selling a lot of their legalization 2.0 products. That's really the only way they can cross that profitability, because their cost to grows are just shit. They're shit. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. They're just shit. They're shit. So I know they got some cash, but they're burning it. So regardless, people like CGC, and they can't look past CGC and look at a company like Valens or something like that. But in time things will change. For all we know, maybe in a year or 2 years or less than that, Thermo Scientific, they'll want a 10% participation in the ownership of Valens at say $10 or something like that, and then They'll have an option to buy, say, like 35 or 40% out at, let's say, like $20 or $17 or something like that. And they'll work out some deal where it, like fully diluted, they'll have like maybe a 250 million share structure. And the deal would be somewhere around like $15 or something like that. But, and they would give them maybe like $1 billion or something, or $2 billion, so they could buy different companies that would really accentuate their growth. Because if they had like a really good grower, because who's to say there's still like not all the growers are being really found. It's hard to explain, but I'm just saying though, a company, say maybe like Westleaf, right? They got Quest, and that's fairly popular, and they're fairly tight on their margins and stuff like that. And maybe if they start selling shatter and some other stuff, the vape pens, and they work with them, maybe maybe Valens, when they had like $1 billion, they buy a company like that. And then, that's going to like boost their revenues as well as their net income, because then they can just, pass that cannabis to them. And, that makes them vertically integrated. But if they're buying a company that their growing is $2 or $3, then that's crap. But, they could buy some like outdoor grow, right? Maybe they buy the best outdoor grower that's a private company or something like that. I mean, they can do that even with the cash at hand, or they could use like a share transaction. But, there's some, who's to know how Valens will go, but I just think there's more in the pipe, probably to do with the medical market, I think, and then the beverage market, because they're going to have their own line of brands. So there's different verticals that Valens is set up to really like kick ass in. But enough about Valens. I just like, I don't know. It just surprises me that they're so low in market cap compared to companies. Some companies, like if you compare I don't know. It's just hard to explain, but it just confuses me. But I mean, a lot of these companies, they're at bargain prices, so it is what it is. It just kind of sucks because you see IIPR and it's like 900 million US, so that's about like 1.25 billion, and then you're owning a company that's gonna do more net income than IPR, and you're worth about a third of that. It's just like, fuck, like you just like, where's the luck for me? Go up. Like, I'm picking good fucking stocks now, like stock gods, like help me out. Anyways, Planet 13 I think is a good stock to look into, but I don't really know if I like these prices. I don't like these prices really. But you know what? The whole setup with Planet 13 is basically really good. I think if they have the same kind of facility in California and it's like does the same success that their Nevada is, then they could be a very slam dunk hit at these prices, because you just never know how that's gonna work out in the future. They're running about a 60 million a year business, and if they were to run another maybe 5 or 10 of those across USA in the best locations, say they have one out in Florida, there's just ways where they can really grow their revenues just by having a few facilities. Like maybe they have 4 facilities and they're doing 200 million, and they maybe do like 20 to 50 million in net income. Who knows? But that's kind of the look that I see for Planet 13. Why there's people that are bullish on it. I know Mickey D is really bullish on it, and that's just life. But Green Thumbs, I don't know. I think it'll do good as far as the share price goes, but as far as valuation metrics don't really align with my mind. I can understand the kind of they want to give a big revenue increase, like a market cap increase, just based on them having a big share of the USA. But I don't know, not really that. I think Tilt's such a better opportunity. They have the same amount of shares, but it's like worth like 40 times less, and it has like same revenues. And they're also Tilt in Canada, with all their vapes they're selling in Canada. So that's what people aren't even noticing. I talked to a guy on Twitter, and he tells me the scoop. He's obsessed with it, and I got my shares in Tilt, but basically they are going to do good with their revenues, but it's just more states like Jupiter vapes are really popular. I think they command about at least 40 to 50% of the market. I think PAX, and maybe there's like Dosis and some others, that are kind of scrambling for the other 50 to 60% of the market. But I really do think that that's where they're at. So, on a, vapes, when they're selling, they can make anywhere from like maybe 10 to 30% of the revenues on a vape pen. So if they're getting, like the vape, maybe it's 25% of the whole USA. Well, now, USA is maybe like 5 to 10 billion. I mean, the public companies around 3 billion run rate or so, but then you get into other companies that are private, then, that's like 10, it could be 10 billion. So a 10 billion, and then, so they have, 25%, and then there's a lot of money to be made. So, out of all those vapes, so it's hard to say how, they're not everywhere in every state across USA, but they are selling a lot. So, 2020, I wouldn't be surprised if they do 300, 350. And I think they're going to do a net income for the year. I do. Mark Scatterday really wants to be profitable, and he changed the whole dynamics. He was profitable when they were running the old Jupiter. Like he made it himself. So I think he was profitable with all that. He sold it, and he's, ever since he came on board and he became the interim CEO, he's really shown that he wants the company to move in the right direction. So, they had to do all these write downs and all that, or, take off their goodwill. But, Aurora's got $3 billion in goodwill. So Tilt cleaned their books. So, I mean, if they start doing like 5 to 10 million in net income a quarter, I mean, I think this is going to be one of the best stocks in the whole fucking cannabis space. And, this was the fucking laughing stock of the whole cannabis space back in April, May, June, or something like that. I can't remember the time when everything shit happened, when they had a $5 million write down. But, the stock's been anywhere from like $3.30 or something like that, down to about 25 cents this year. So, I don't think, if they do some really nice revenues, I think the stock, just want to share that company I don't really talk too much about, but I do have an opinion on it. MedMan is shit. I hope I get even like $140. I hope it goes to $1. I bought about like at $3, 100 shares. So it's kind of a bleed, but it could be a lot fucking worse. Could have bought like, I don't know, even 1,000 would have fucking sucked. Could have bought fucking like 10,000, 20,000 of MedMan, because they're like, it's the best name brand, but their insiders are just complete trash. So, who knows where this is going to go. I mean, if hype takes the market higher, this may go to 152, but I'm going to get out because I don't trust this enterprise. It's Enterprise, MedMan Enterprises. Halo Labs is interesting. They've been acquiring a lot, so their share structure is getting a lot bigger. They do need to post a nice profit or EBITDA for this quarter to, for the market to really accept them. Because if they're taking on all these deals, the market's be like, what the fuck are you doing with all these deals? Make the business profitable. But I mean, I like what he's doing. Kieran Sidhu, he's on Spotify. He's all over the place doing podcasts with like Todd Shapiro, all these different types of people. He's on Rich TV. He's on Mice-Letter. He does his own. If you watch him on Twitter, he does his own live feeds, or he posts videos. So I don't know. I think I like his mentality, but I back it up with some nice numbers, and because I'm a numbers guy, and that's what the industry cares about. This is my time to shine. This is my fucking time to shine because I'm a numbers guy, right? So I want to own companies that got good fucking numbers. So any company come spring that have shitty numbers, they're fucking getting cut. I've already cut Isodio. I've cut Suniva this year. Some others I've cut. Nutrisci, cut that. Just ones that I feel that are in trouble. So yeah. IPR, IPR offers an interesting opportunity. I don't know about the value on IPR. I think they're valued good, but I just worry about what the future is. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know. I think if you have, say, like $100,000 portfolio, and you have like a Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway portfolio, I think it wouldn't be stupid to buy like 1%. So say you like, you buy like 1,000, or you buy like 0.5% of a percent. So you bought maybe like $500, right? If you had, $100,000 in the market. Now, if you had like $20,000 in the market, maybe buy like 3 shares, right? Who knows? Maybe this is like a $400 stock in a couple of years, right? So that's, I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm not telling you to buy or sell. I'm just saying, though, that's the reality of things, that this could be like a $300, $400 stock. If everything was just, Grow Generation is, so this is the stock that does. So LCI, I know it had a big move earlier, but I think could have bigger moves if more people kind of hear about. Like the first wave is kind of like low key, so I think if there was like a lot more momentum on it, and this company's a natural business, right? They're not just doing that. They're in the pharmaceutical industry, and they have some type of PE ratio. It's in the hundreds, but regardless, it's a PE ratio. I don't know what their debt levels are, but just think it could be a moment. I don't know. They're working the USA side. ARNA, ARNA, is a pharmaceutical. I'm kind of just keeping them on my radar. If they go down enough, then look at an opportunity maybe for a call option, if I can get a call option, or we can buy maybe like 5-10 shares. Who knows? Even Co, just chilling. 17.5 cents down. Merriam, but yeah, so that's I think my screen's pretty slow, so I think I'm just going to talk about Afria. So Afria did EU GMP today. I think that's very impressive for Afria, because Afria's have a lot of scale. Like a lot of kgs are going to grow. So they have the distribution company CC Pharma that's pretty big in Germany. So they also have a deal with the government of Germany. So they're really, in the pieces together to make. Tilray is kind of on it from the Israel side as well as the Portugal side. And they may sell some of their stuff from their EU GMP in Canada, but who knows? Maybe not anymore. Just working in Portugal, but Portugal is good for Tilray, so they're working in the piece at that angle. but Aphria is working the distribution angle to be dominant, and then when there's a bigger market from EU GMP, they're supposed to do it like later in the year, right? Q4 they said, so it's going to be a while before it really shows up. But who knows, like 2022 could be very good for Aphria if Europe really opens up based on their CC farm, even though I have no position. But Berkshire Hathaway portfolio I made up, created on my own, and so I think it'll be interesting. So silver was down, platinum, palladium was down. It was like just got crushed. I think it has to do with all this like coronavirus. It's affected Constellation Brands. So anyways, I think that's enough I wanted to talk about today with you guys. Talk a lot about those cannabis stocks. So anyways, keep commenting info, listen to my lingo, and shaka, cut, peace. I'm out.